Okay, I was gonna start talking, and then I saw that monk come over, and I was expecting them to tell me something or talk to me. So I was just waiting before talking. But now that that's out of the way, I don't have to worry about it. So a survey was sent to select people, I guess, to just kind of see what they want for classes and specs and stuff, which they do. Every now and then they'll send some survey. And one of the interesting ones I saw was about range DPS monk, which I'll go ahead and read it before I even talk about it. It just says range DPS monk. There's no name of the spec. It's just range DPS. I would assume it's going to be Chi based since we're missing a celestial, but who knows. Overload your inner spirit, manifesting your chi as crackling lightning bolts and sharp projectiles. Bends the flow of the target's own spirit, disrupting and unraveling them from within while maintaining their own perfect spiritual balance. So I kind of like it. I like what at least it's implying. The idea of just firing off chi projectiles is something that could be interesting if they do it, rather than splitting up and making a Chi-Ji styled healer. They could just pull Chi-Ji from Mistweaver. I don't know if they would do that, or if they're just going to kind of leave it as is. I get the feeling they're going to probably rip Chi-Ji from Mistweaver, and that's likely what's going to happen, and then focus on Chi-Ji into being a more damage approach, which would be fine. In a way, it could make sense. I've seen some people say it would make more sense if it was like a holy fire type of thing. I understand that as well, but I think the route of doing chi and lightning would work just as good. I would expect the chi to be red, but who knows? They may do the whole poultry excuse they did, where they were like, "Oh, the reason we didn't make the healing spells red is because spinning crane kicked looked like a chicken slaughterhouse," or whatever it said. It was a dumb reason, because I looked at the footage of the ability whenever they kind of did the little whole like, "Oh, here's what it's gonna look like," and they did the little monk intro. I think the video's still out there too to look at, and it didn't look that bad. I understood what they were saying, but they went with like a very dark kind of red to where you don't really notice it being blood. It's not like it was bloody is the point. But before I go off of that, I can talk about monk for a long time, to be honest. I like the class even when I don't fully play it. I still really enjoy it and like it. It might be what I play next expansion. I don't really know. I'm leaning towards it because I don't really mind the changes that are happening to it. It's whatever. The whole... I just don't care enough. I'll play it because I like the class. I don't care about numbers and that stuff. I haven't in like years. But when it comes down to the range style, I think they'll like to go the Chi-Ji route. I do like the idea of the lightning bolts. It would be nice to have another lightning user. Right now it's really just shaman. And I'm trying to think of ways they could really do it and make it interesting. I would hope it's not a 25-yard range type of DPS. I also don't want to jump in and like do a bunch of attacks, like how Demon Hunter seems to be doing with what is it called? Whatever their new spec is called. Whatever it is. I'm probably not playing that. I don't think so, at least. It doesn't really grab my attention. But there's some classes where as a whole they don't really grab my attention too much. The idea of bending the flow of the target's own spirit and disrupting and unraveling them. I would imagine that's chi blocking. So it'd be cool if you could, like, someone gets close to you, you can block their chi, and then just it disrupts them. It stops them, slows them down, or whatever. Like, I could see it being like a control-based type of thing with this version of monk. I like the direction too, and it kind of shows that, you know, in a way, it kind of shows that, you know, chi can be both good and bad. It's just based off the user. It seems like this could be a potentially dark route of using chi, of the idea of like bending someone else's own chi, but you're already doing that to heal. It's just interesting to go that route with a range style, and I kind of like that it kind of shows like, hey, you can weaponize chi in this manner too. It's not just like healing miss. You can actually reroute someone's chi. You can block them internally. You can do a lot with it. I think it could work out really well. I don't know if I would prefer a healer path instead that's Chi-Ji focused. I mean, if they do a different path with it, and maybe a support style using Chi-Ji, and using like, that could work, because I mean we have like things like Song of Chi-Ji, maybe they could focus on that aspect of it. A lot of the Chi-Ji followers, from what I remember, with what I've seen, is they're very priestly. That's what they tend to be. So it would make sense if they were ranged or a healer type of thing if they went that route. I'm kind of okay with that. I don't know how what's gonna happen to Mistweaver if they go this route. I would be all right with it because it does feel like there's some specs that they should probably have 4 specs and not 3, and it kind of feels off that we don't have a Celestial focused on Chi-Ji. Instead, we have to like split this whole talent tree thing between Crane and Serpent. I'm not really a big fan of it. I personally wish they would just pitch good direction. I'll play whichever one I like. I kind of like the red cocoons that Chi-Ji does. I prefer Chi-Ji just because of the red effects, but if they want to split it, that's fine to me. It's kind of just whatever. But overall, I kind of like that they're considering at least doing something with Monk in terms of adding another spec. It would also kind of make them removing the lightning effects or the lightning talents from Windwalker in Midnight make a bit more sense, because now we can kind of see like, okay, maybe they're not that necessarily like working on that spec right now, but they're considering it, so they're kind of pulling back some things to kind of see if maybe they can wait to add that back in for a different spec. Overall, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know really what else to say until I actually see more. I'll probably think on it more, and I could make up more stuff in my head about what you could do with it. I mean, I just don't want to turn into like you go in and out. I don't want to turn into like a. I guess you already are kind of like you dip in and out as a Windwalker in fights and stuff. I'm talking PvP, because you can't just stand toe to toe with her when you have to do kiting. I kind of I don't mind doing that. I just don't particularly like it too much, the hit and go style. I guess I'd be okay with it if it's 40 yards. If it's a 25 yard type of monk, I would have to see what they do with the spec and how it works and functions. That's really all I have to say. I don't really have much else. If I keep talking about monk, I can go on long tangents and I can make this video last like 30 minutes, 40, 5 hours. It doesn't really matter. I really do like the class. I like the specs to a degree. There's some things I prefer on some of the specs. They're kind of going in the direction I kind of like with some of them. Windwalker, I kind of like what they're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and just stop before I go on tangent about every single spec and talk about that. I don't have much else to say. We'll see what happens. Thanks for listening.